Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tailored Metaphor, where I use my imagination to explain your psychology. You know, we're all kind of stuck in this trap at the moment, wondering about the future, wondering about the pandemic, wondering when everything's going to be either back to normal or just back to some kind of sense of predictability. And that's a trap because we human beings love to think or love to try and control some aspect of the future. Obviously, we can't predict the future. Nobody can, even in a non-pandemic time. But especially right now, we really can't. Like, there's so much uncertainty that we are all feeling on a very deep level every single day that it gets scary. And the problem is, as that gets more and more scary and we become more and more uncertain, because that uncertainty is not getting solved at all any day. So day after day, we feel more and more uncertain, which means we feel more and more scared, which means more and more our brains want to come up with some kind of way to solve the problem, to solve this curiosity or unpredictability about the future, when really we then lose sight of what's happening here and now. I've talked about this before with overwhelm, that we lose sight of like what is in our present moment and what's either going well, but also like what we can actually control in this moment. You know, there's so many messages out there about like, what can you be grateful for? What can you do right now? What can you do to take advantage of the day? And that's fine. I'm not going to talk about that today. Those are all very helpful and positive. What I'm going to talk about today is I'm going to use the metaphor of a soccer game. I want you to treat every single day like a soccer game. Now, it can be any sport. It can be any match on any field or any court or whatever it is. But I played soccer, so we're going to talk about soccer today. But what I mean by this is I want you to take every single day thinking that you are in one single soccer game. Because if you're playing in a soccer tournament, or you're in the playoffs of whatever your sport is, even though you want to, even though your brain wants to think about the next game, or wants to think about the finals, or wants to think about the end goal of winning, which of course it will, just because that's the goal, you can only focus on the single game that's right ahead of you. If you're thinking about the next game while you're playing that game, then you're going to be distracted. You're not going to succeed in that first game. You probably won't win that game. And so thinking about the second game was completely unnecessary because you didn't even make it to that game. And so what I want you to do, so many people I'm talking to are stuck thinking about tomorrow and stuck thinking about next week. And it's just this overwhelming dread and angst of just like, what is this going to look like? Like, so much uncertainty. And so if you just focus on today as its own game, as its own field of play, then think about every minute, every 30 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, every hour, just focus on how you're feeling, what you're doing, what you want to be doing, or what you want to achieve out of that minute, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, what have you. So that it's like each individual play in a soccer game. You can only focus on the play that you are part of right then. And that's going to lead to hopefully scoring a goal. And so if you are able to focus on the one play right this minute, then you're going to achieve a little victory and something positive in the next 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever time frame you want to work with. And those quick wins, those little victories that are in the here and now are going to help you feel so much lighter, feel so much more relieved and empowered to get to that next game. Because if you are able to focus on this game and you're able to make everything that you're doing today super small, super specific, all the way down to the minute if you have to, and you're only focusing on the minute, that's going to make you feel so much more confident and comfortable at the end of today, saying, you know what? I made it. Today was a good day. I had all these little accomplishments here and there. Even if it was hard other times, just like a soccer game is hard, I can now go to the next day. I can now go to the next game. And then tomorrow, you wake up and it's a new game. Maybe it's a new opponent. It's a new challenge that you have to face. But take each day as a much smaller game or time frame than you're actually thinking. It's going to be hard. Look, I know this. I know this is going to be hard. Like, this is a combination of like different type of like meditation and mindfulness techniques and presence techniques. But it's really hard because your brain just wants to think about next week. It wants to think that far ahead, so you start to worry about it and you want to like try and figure it out or solve a problem. So you're going to be fighting against that natural instinct. But if you practice it and it becomes a practice, you're actually going to feel much more in flow, kind of this easier fluidity to your day and to your tasks and to your accomplishments, just because it's little things that you're worrying about. It's only little things that you're focusing on and achieving. So try that. I hope it works for you. In the meantime, as you're working on it, please remember to be kind to yourself, take care of yourself, be kind to others, and I'll talk to you again soon.